What's up everyone, it's Tyranitartube and welcome to the top 5 UNOVA Pokemon that deserve Mega Evolution. Title's pretty self-explanatory, but in this series, I show you guys 5 Pokemon from each region that deserve a Mega Evolution. No starters, no legendaries, but actual Pokemon that deserve it. I show you guys custom stats they should get, what ability they should get, as well as how they should look. And all of this is created exclusively for this series, so I can assure you that you've never seen any of these designs before. So sit back and let's get into it. So of course I'm gonna lead with one you'll disagree on. I mean, that's the point of these videos. We all already want Megas of Hydreigon and all the other mainstream Pokemon, but I'm trying to show you guys a different and more underappreciated side. So coming in at number 5 is Golurk. It's such an odd Pokemon, but in a cool way. It's a cyborg golem that lurks. That's how it gets its name. It's a ghost ground type, has pretty decent abilities and decent stats, but overall, it's pretty bad. Sure, it's got immunity to normal, fighting, and electric attacks, some of the most common types out there, especially on the battlefield, but that's just sugarcoating. This thing is weak to even more common types like water, grass, ice, and dark. It's got both Iron Fist and No Guard, along with this amazing attack stat to take advantage of its huge move pool of physical attacks, but it's just too defenseless and slow. You can't land an attack if you're dead. You need help. And that's where Pico comes in. You see its silhouette, you see what it has, but I won't show you yet. If Golurk Mega Evolved, he can finally be the cyborg golem he always wanted to be. And the 3 things that define a golem is attack, defense, and special defense. In other words, a tank. That's what a cyborg is, and that's what a golem is, and that is what Mega Golurk is. And this is what it looked like. Now I know, swords and shields are man-made, but tell that to Aegislash, who gives birth to more swords. Or maybe not, it's a sword that's possessed. But tell it to this guy who finds 3 more spoons after Mega Evolving. If he gets spoons, then he gets a sword, okay? We cool? But the reason I wanted it with the sword and shield is to give off the more guardian appearance. This thing looks like something that would guard the 3 Reggie Caves, and if you look at its stats, it's more than capable of. Mega Golurk should retain its full typing as a ghost and ground type and get the ability Sheer Force. Its move pool is filled with a ton of attacks that are boosted by Sheer Force, and I mean a ton. And in combination with its new bulkiness, Mega Golurk could be a really fun Pokemon to use. And a Pokemon worth using. Next up at number 4 is Zebstrika. Zebstrika is actually a really cool Pokemon, but throughout Black and White, as you see it more and more, you start to look at it as this weak, common Pokemon. And it is common and weak, but it's a Pokemon that has so much potential. Just look at this thing. This thing has really good attack and speed, especially for a Pokemon that has a base stat total under 500. All 3 of its abilities are solid: Lightning Rod, Motor Drive, and Sap Sipper, which not only just give it immunity to a type, but gets stronger if you switch it in at the right time. With Sap Sipper, switch this thing in on a grass attack, and this thing's attack essentially becomes 150. So why does this thing suck? 2 reasons. It can't take advantage of its good attack, and it can't take a hit. Zebstrika seriously has little to no physical attacks, meaning you're better off using its weaker 80 special attack. But that special attack's not going to do much for you, and most Pokemon will be able to take a hit from this thing, while Zebstrika can't do the same. This thing's too damn frail. You're better off using a Magneton. Seriously, a Magneton could do much better than Zebstrika. Zebstrika deserves 1 more evolution, but if it can't get that, it's getting a Mega. If Zebstrika found himself a Zebstrikite, this is what it'd become. Now, if you look at its stats, it doesn't actually focus on one stat. This thing would definitely be more of a balanced Pokemon, like Mega Camerupt and Mega Glalie, which means that this thing can be molded into either a physical, special, or even a mixed attacker. Its defenses are a little stronger that'll make it much more bearable to attacks, and it's also just a little bit faster. And the reason its stats are like this is for its ability, Speed Boost. Now, Zebstrika's always been shown as this Pokemon that can move at the speed of sound, reverberating the sound of thunder. In other words, a Pokemon that gets progressively faster and stronger as the battle progresses. In fact, when Ash met Zebstrika in the anime, it was said to be lightning fast and capable of shooting lightning in all directions. And that just seals it. Mega Zebstrika is exactly what I'd love to see alongside Mega Sharpedo and Mega Blaziken. And to top it all off, upon Mega Evolving, this thing should gain the flying type to become an electric flying type, but not in the same way as, say, Zapdos. Zebstrika is more of a land Pokemon that can just take flight, and that's why this design is so perfect for it. The electric flying Pegasus is just so freaking badass, and while Zebstrika doesn't have access to many flying attacks, it's such a beneficial typing that would just boost its potential to the top. Game Freak, make this happen. I'm not much of a Zebstrika fan, so make me. Coming in at numero 3 is this long sleeve devil, Mienshao. You may not know this, but Mienshao is a very good Pokemon. It's a unique, versatile Pokemon. There's just so many ways to use it. It has crazy high attacking speed, as well as 2 unpredictable abilities. Reckless, an offensive ability that makes recoil attacks, including high jump kick, do more damage, and Regenerator, a defensive ability that allows it to recover HP when it switches out. It even has good special attack with supportive moves like Aura Sphere that make this thing really versatile, but it's almost too versatile. It's not the best at anything, it can just do a lot. The biggest reason it isn't used as much is because if you're not using it as a suicidal Pokemon, then chances are there's a way better Pokemon for the role, like using Magneton instead of a Zebstrika. There's just so much potential with this weird Pokemon that it just can't use properly, and that's where its Mega Evolution needs to kick in. Mega Mienshao needs to maintain that oddity. Maybe not the long sleeves, but it definitely needs to stay unusual and unique. Yes, Mienshao is pretty frail. Yeah, Mienshao isn't strong enough to one-shot things. And yes, Mienshao isn't the fastest thing out there. But screw all that! Mega Mienshao needs to stay unique. That's how it's gonna get its title. And this is how it's gonna be done. First of all, Mienshao needs a boost in its 3 most important stats: attack, special attack, and speed. It'll be a lot better as a physical attacker, a mixed attacker, or even a special attacker. And don't forget that when Mega Mienshao is introduced, it's definitely gonna get access to new attacks, especially more special attacks. When Mienshao Mega evolves, it would gain the Fairy type, making it the first fighting Fairy type. And to support that is the ability PIXELATE. While being a very strong physical and special attacker, being part Fairy gives this thing a whole new level of strength. In fact, if it were to use only stab attacks, the only single types that could stand in its way are Poison and Bug. Being part Fairy also gives it the upper advantage against 3 major types: Dark, Fighting, and Dragon. It really does seem like the next stage to Mienshao, the stage that will make this thing an absolute threat. Just imagine facing a Mienshao that Mega Evolved into this thing. It would be such a unique and actually a really fun Pokemon to use. Now we step things up. These last 2 spots are reserved for the big bosses. Coming in at number 2 is Escavalier. Hold up, we can't just bring him alone. Bring in Excelgor too. These 2 Pokemon are half-brothers that evolve by stealing from each other. And that's another way of saying that they're the only Pokemon that evolved through co-evolution. Chances are, you didn't forget these Pokemon existed. You just think they're irrelevant. And they are. But the awesome fact is that these 2 are counterparts to each other. Excelgor out of the 2 is the fast and frailest one. Escavalier is the slow but defensive one. But one thing they share in common is their unique level of uselessness. It sucks to say that Excelgor is one of my most favorite Pokemon. Excelgor can outspeed nearly any Pokemon, but it's just not strong enough to deal any worthy damage. Escavalier, while able to tank major hits and retaliate, is forced as the same predictable tank. It's too balanced to the point where it can't specialize in one thing. It's just decent at everything. You're forced to give Excelgor a focus sash so it doesn't die on the first turn, and you're forced to give Escavalier a choice item to force it into specializing in one thing. And to top it all off, these 2 have some of the least supportive abilities out there. Excelgor's best ability is Unburden, which doubles its speed after using its item. And Escavalier's best ability is Overcoat, which just protects it from weather and moves like Spore. Now don't get me wrong, in their own fields, these 2 are awesome Pokemon, but in serious battles, there's just no reason to really use these guys. But that will all change, because Mega Excelgor and Mega Escavalier don't play no games. Mega Excelgor, the biggest problem with Excelgor is that it can't use its speed to its best advantage. There is no point in being faster than the opponent if you can't make good use of being able to make the move first. Mega Excelgor is going to open up those opportunities. With much more offensive power and speed, not only can this thing not be outsped at all, but it has just enough power to deal serious damage to the opponent when least expected. It also has amazing physical attack, which is the real game changer. Excelgor has just a few good physical attacks that are worth using, but one in particular is one it was never able to use effectively: U-turn. Being able to outspeed a threatening opponent, launch a powerful U-turn, and switch into something else all before the opponent can attack is what's gonna make this thing the most annoying Pokemon ever, and in a good way. It's almost like a speedy, stealthy ninja. And that's exactly what it should look like. It should maintain its pure bug typing, but as all good ninjas, have the endurance to stay standing. In other words, sturdy. Yeah, Masuda, you don't understand how much I need this in my life. Please make this happen. Pokemon Z, Mega Excelgor. But now, let's get creative. Mega Escavalier. Remember how I said Escavalier is too forced into its stats? How every Escavalier has to be used the same way or else it's useless? The best way to make use of Escavalier's strong offense and defense is to separate them. Mega Escavalier attack and defense form. I'm talking stance change. It'll sound odd to you at first, so give it some time. In its attack form, its attack and special attack skyrocket to the top while its defenses are left open. But on the contrast, in its defense form, its defenses shoot up as its attack drops. When it's in its attack stance, it leaves its weak spots open to swing at you, but when it's in its defense stance, its entire body is protected. Have fun getting through that armor. It's actually pretty similar to Aegislash. So many abilities in Pokemon are just rehashed and overused. It would actually be great to have another stance changer. And the first Pokemon I'd give it to is a Scavalier. It makes it the perfect counterpart to Excelgar as well. Being able to learn King Shield when it becomes in a Scavalier and then being able to manage its forte in battle would make this thing entirely unpredictable. The exact thing that made normal Escavalier nearly useless. So what does that leave us with? You've already seen 5 Pokemon that deserve Megas, but here's the #1 spot. The See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, Monkey on Fire, Darmanitan. I don't think anyone would get what that meant. I've recently found new love for this little orangutan from my Extreme Randomizer, and it was within there that I noticed that it really deserves one. In my playthrough, it would always one-shot everything, but even then, I would never use it for some reason. And that's because it's so frightening to use him. Yes, he obliterates when he attacks, but he's frail and easily outsped by his counters. But Darmanitan's an interesting case. Its first ability is Sheer Force, which discards a move's secondary effect to make it do more damage. An epic ability. But its second ability is Zen Mode, an ability that allows Darmanitan to go into this meditative form where its defenses skyrocket and it specializes in special attacks. Odd, huh? Look at these stats. Zen Mode Darmanitan is actually really good, except that it's very difficult to use. So difficult that you really can't use it. But that's because being able to use Zen Mode Darmanitan is more of an Easter egg. Its real importance comes in its mythology. Zen Mode Darmanitan is based off the 3 wise monkeys. 3 monkeys that when together embody the saying, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This is Zen Mode Darmanitan. Its eyes are blacked out, it's tightly covering its ears, and it never opens its mouth. A passive and meditative form where it refuses to do anything evil. And the reason this Zen Mode exists is because when it comes out of this state, it's ready to go to hell and kick your ass. Bring in the Mega freaking Darmanitan. I'm sorry, but if you ever live to see this thing, just know that it will keep smiling even when you're roasting on the rotisserie stick. Don't think it's happy to see you. I'm in love with this design, but let me explain this to you. You see, every fast attacker has a weak spot in their defense, and every single time one of these Pokemon get a Mega Evolution like Sharpedo, Gengar, and Blaziken, they just get faster and stronger, completely ignoring their frailness. But Darmanitan is unique because he doesn't look like the type to just get stronger and faster. He looks like the type to bulk up and beat you into a pulp while taking attacks. And that's why when it Mega Evolves, its attack and defense skyrocket while also slightly increasing its special defense. It makes for such an interesting Pokemon. This thing is straight up a flaming Donkey Kong. But it doesn't end there. Mega Darmanitan should gain the fighting typing to become a fire fighting type. It can already learn a good deal of fighting moves from Power Up Punch to Super Power. And as a fire fighting type, it's completely on the other side of the spectrum to its Zen Mode, exactly what Mega Darmanitan should be. And on top of that, it should get the ability that allows this thing to go on a rampage, Moxie. While Sheer Force or Iron Fist would also make sense, the pure damage this thing's gonna deal goes perfect with Moxie. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Or like kill one, kill another, kill again. Mega Darmanitan is the beast we need. Make it happen, Masuda. 7 designs. How did a top 5 list turn to 7? I don't know. But if you enjoyed it, guys, be sure to leave a like on this video. Let me know your own top 5 for Unova in the comments below. But hey, you know, it doesn't matter, because it all comes down to opinions. And you know what Game Freak's opinion is? Freaking Audino!